afternoon, New York SADD. I'm excited to bring you another Advisor Academy today. Today we're going to probably talk a little bit quicker than we normally do, only because the topic that we're going over is something that you all are probably pretty familiar with already if you've been part of the SADD family for a while or been an advisor for some time. If not, this might be some new information, but as always, we'll have this all available for you on the Google Drive, and if you ever have any questions, you're more than welcome to give me a shout. So what I'd like to talk about today is branding and how to use the SADD logos and brands appropriately when you're putting out information for your traffic safety programs or the programs that you're doing at the school, flyers that you're putting together, whatever it may be that you create that's either a graphic that goes on your social media pages or even graphics that you hang up as far as flyers and posters, things like that around school. So there are some kind of specific ways that we like to make sure that our brand or our branding is used. And it's really important that we just know a couple of tips and tricks about how to use our branding appropriately to make sure that the SADD brand stays intact. It's a really important piece of our marketing campaign. I'm definitely not going to go down a whole marketing road right now. That is certainly not my strong point or my speciality, but I do know a thing or two about branding and keeping things along the same lines, making sure that we're staying with brand, staying on brand, and that we are adhering to our brand standards. So with that said, we're just going to go over a couple of our brand standards. Okay. And let's just make sure this is actually going to work. Okay, great. Awesome. So our brand standards kind of update every now and then. This was just updated earlier last year, so it's pretty up to date with where we are right now. Again, this whole PowerPoint will be available for you on the drive. Actually, I think it already is. So many of you already know that this is our main logo for SADD. The logo is most recognizable for our brand. It's something that all of you probably have resources that have the logo on it. You may even have t-shirts and things with the logo on it. The big thing about our logo is to make sure that we're not changing anything about it when we're using it. So the way that it's pictured is the way that it should be used. So it shouldn't be changed for any reason, no changes in the colors, no changes in the orientation. We know that it's off skew, let's call it. So it's rotated, I don't know, maybe 45 degrees or so. We really don't want to be putting it back to the original 90 degrees or straight on. That's not our correct logo. So it should be pictured as you see it on this like sort of off-kilter orientation. Again, this is something that's a registered trademark for SADD. It's something that we are proud of, it's something we stand behind, and it's the main component of our brand. So we definitely don't want to be messing with the SADD logo. There are a couple versions of the logo in a couple of different colors to go on different things that you may have that may need a white background versus the black background or black lettering. That's totally fine. That is something that we've produced that you are more than welcome to use with that registered trademark, showing that we have authenticated that as part of our brand. If it doesn't have that and you found something with, let's say, orange or purple, that's probably not ours. And you should definitely check with us before you use it on anything like marketing material or any kind of t-shirts or things like that. As I mentioned, there are those additional logos to download if need be. If you need to go black and white for something, I highly recommend using the black and white version over here. It's easier for your computers to figure out. And then if you're putting logos on, let's say a black t-shirt or a black jacket, the logo with the white lettering is probably easiest to see and to print. So those are the ones you should be using. Outside of these three, you shouldn't be using a SADD logo that looks any different than these available versions. And these logos are available for you to download in the SADD portal. We give you full access to them as SADD chapters, so you can feel free to use them on your materials and things. Likewise for our state graphics. So when you're putting things on flyers or you're marketing that traffic safety event that we're doing together, usually I'll be upfront and tell you that I'm going to do the flyer for you just to make sure that everything is checking out with our brand appropriately. And it keeps continuous with things that we've done at other locations as well. But if for whatever reason you're using the New York logo, I believe this is Colorado, possibly. We want to make sure that our logos are being used in the authentic way that they were created. So making sure that the orientation stays the same, that the logo of SADD within the state border stays the same, that that's not moved or on a different orientation, that it's not put over like the backdrop of a city or something strange like that where the picture doesn't really show clearly. We don't want to move the orientation to any kind of different angle. We don't want to change the colors, and we certainly don't want to color in the state that is not part of the branding. So when we're talking about marketing on print or online documents, a lot of the things that we make from New York SADD come from Canva. They're things that I just create in Canva, C-A-N-V-A. You'll see it right here. Canva is a great program. It's free. You can create a ton of different graphics, posters, whatever you may need that we can market our events and things together, or market to your chapters or your community that this event is going to be happening, or try to reach out to folks to engage them in what you're doing with SADD, get them on board. We want to make sure that we're using the same fonts, we're using the appropriate lettering, appropriate colors. That is also part of branding. So when you are using print and web documents, Gotham Book and Gotham Bold are our two fonts that we use. They are part of our brand. You can actually download those for free if you do a quick Google search for the font package of Gotham Book or Gotham Bold. You can install those on your local computers. It's something that you may need permission to do on a school computer from your IT department, but it's pretty easy to get those Gotham Book and Gotham Bold fonts. With Canva, unfortunately, those two fonts are not available, and certainly not in the free version. If you have the paid version or the premium version, you can actually install the fonts that you've downloaded onto Canva and use them. But if you're using Canva without the paid version or just using the free version, the fonts that are closest to our brand and the ones that we use often are League Spartan, Siphon, Siphon Outline, and Permanent Marker. Again, you will see a ton of these being used in all of our marketing for New York SADD. We try to make sure that we keep on brand as much as possible with all of these fonts and lettering. So if you think that things often look the same, that's because they do. And likewise with colors. So we want to make sure that our colors are the exact same colors we use all the time and all the rest of our branding. It keeps everything consistent. It makes sure that everybody can see our brand, can see that everything is recognizable, and knows what it's about with barely even a thought as to what the organization is. Oh, I know that's SADD because I know the logo, I know the colors. And when it comes to colors, it's actually pretty easy. We've given you all the colors right here. So if you know anything about colors and computers, or if you had a really great experience with Paint as a kid, which I did, one of the only programs on a computer when I was younger, you know a little bit about CMYK codes, RGB codes, or hex codes. So with a program like Paint, you would be using RGB codes. With Canva, you would be looking for this hex code. When you go to colors on Canva and you try to change either the font color or the background color, it will allow you to choose a color from the color wheel, or you can put in that hex number right here, and that hex number will bring up the exact red that is our SADD red. Same with our blue, yellow, green, and purple. Again, we want to make sure we're using these in authentic ways, so please make sure that you have a look at all of our SADD marketing, things that are from SADD National, New York SADD, because we're using things in the way that these colors and these fonts and things should be used, and we want to make sure you all are doing the same. Likewise, if you're creating things like presentations, you'll see that this dotted graphic here, which is in the corner of the screen on this PowerPoint, we use it very often in a lot of PowerPoints or other marketing things right here as well with the lines. These graphics are available in the SADD portal to download, already in the colors that you need, already ready to go. You can just insert them into a corner or whatever. If your students are doing a traffic safety presentation or whatever they're doing for the school, maybe they're going to make a community connection, or they're trying to create a flyer to garner interest from the community or local law enforcement, local different agencies or community agencies that they're looking to get some assistance from. This would be a great way to jazz up your posters or your flyers a little bit more and make sure that you're using SADD appropriate graphics. We also like to make sure that we include our tagline as much as we possibly can. You'll see in a lot of our graphics and our websites that we also include the nation's premier youth health and safety organization. That is our tagline. So as often as we can use this logo and the tagline together, we try to. We want to reinforce that we are the nation's premier youth health and safety organization, that we are about everything about youth health and safety. We want to make sure that we focus on, including traffic safety, of course, which is our starting block from 1981 till now. But what we don't want to do is change this in any way to reflect our state or our school or our county, whatever it may be. So as you see on the right, we definitely don't want to do North Carolina's premier youth health and safety organization, because we are not. We are the nation's premier youth health and safety organization. It seems small, it might seem a little petty, but that really is all about branding, making sure that things stay consistent, that they stay authentic to the brand. We also have 4 power words. We like to make sure that we include these in a lot of our marketing, especially when it comes to engaging the community, engaging youth, getting kids involved in our programming. So those 4 words are empower, engage, mobilize, and change. You'll see a lot of this in the communication materials. You can also download some information that includes the 4 power words and learn how to use them a little bit better. Again, if you browse through our marketing and things a little bit on our social media pages and our website, you'll see these power words quite a bit and get a better sense of how to use them appropriately. If for whatever reason, if and when, let's say, if you're having a conversation with somebody and they ask about, well, what is SADD? What do you do? Or you're trying to, again, engage another partner in the community, engage a local organization to assist you at an event, or get together some sort of traffic safety presentation or event where we all come together to mobilize and get the students involved in traffic safety initiatives. They could be asking, hey, you know, I remember SADD from when I was younger. I remember it, you know, in school. I don't know much about it anymore. Can you tell me about SADD? We call this an elevator pitch or an elevator speech. Something that if you only had a couple of minutes or seconds to be able to tell someone about SADD, this would be what you tell them. So I'm not going to read this to you, but it basically gives you a quick snapshot of what SADD is. It says what we're all about. It says what we're into. It basically explains all of the branding that I've been telling you about in a couple of seconds so that somebody could get a really great idea of what SADD does, what we work on, who we do, the work we do for, what it is that we stand for, more or less. So this is something that I urge you to use this as much as possible. Make sure that your students know about our elevator pitch. It's something that they could use out in the community quite a bit, and certainly something they could use within the school as well to engage not only teachers and admin, but also parents, families, PTAs, PTOs, but other students as well, because students actually are pretty confused about what SADD is sometimes, and this could really help to broaden that idea. If you need some ideas on what to do for social, as I've said 100 times, I would love to see each one of your chapters start at least one social media page. I do recommend Instagram just because I feel like it's a good in-between, especially for the age gaps that we may be seeing between ourselves as advisors and the students that we see every day. But I definitely recommend starting at least Instagram, maybe Facebook and Twitter as well. There are some best practices for how to use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, TikTok, you name it. So you want to check out those best practices, how often you should be posting, how big the text should be, because in some platforms it's larger than others. You want to make sure that you're posting at the right times. So if your page is set up correctly, like a business page, you will get insights that tell you about the page, how often people are visiting, the age group of people that are visiting. It's really helpful to be able to know when to post, how much to post, what's working, what's not working. So that's just a really quick infographic guide that you can use going forward if you're interested in doing more on social, which I highly recommend. If you're ever in doubt, just let me know. Again, this has been up on the Google Drive, I believe, for quite a while now. Nobody really wants to look at it because they're like, oh, branding, that's not my thing. But it really is. It's everybody's thing. So anytime you make something that includes the SADD logo, that includes some information about SADD and what you're doing, and has either the logo or some of our graphics or a lot of text that has different colors and things, you want to make sure that you're using the appropriate colors, the appropriate logos, the appropriate graphics to go with it, to make sure that we stay on brand, to make sure that everything is recognizable, and make sure that when you're holding an event like a great traffic safety event for all of your school, that everybody is easily recognizing that flyer, that the community can look at that flyer and say, oh, that's SADD. SADD is great. We know they're going to put on a great event. It creates that brand recognition, that brand reliability, and it really solidifies that we know what we're doing. And of course, that's what we want, to make sure that all of our students know, that our community knows, that we know what we're doing, and we're really here for the best intentions with everything that we have to offer. So if you have questions, feel free to contact me anytime. Email, call, or text the same number. And certainly follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at the same handle, New York SADD. If you have any questions going forward, give me a shout. I'm always available to talk about branding or whatever you may need to make sure that your graphics are appropriate or that your flyer looks the way that it should, and help you in any way to make sure that your event is publicized as much as it possibly can be within the standards and guidelines of what SADD considers appropriate branding. I look forward to talking to you all for the rest of the week. We will be talking about graduated driver's licensing laws all week, which is super important for our teens. So definitely tune in, check out the Google Drive with the information on what's happening every day this week. Follow us on social to make sure you are up to date with the times and the meet codes and all those things. And if you need me, you know where to find me. Thank you all. Have a great one.